Hey everyone, how are you all doing? We're happy to have you here from all around the world. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Libya has been in chaos since yesterday, and even as I'm recording this for you today, there's still heavy street fighting going on, especially in the southern parts of Tripoli. What's happening now isn't just militias fighting each other anymore. Now we're seeing armed forces turning their weapons on civilians. The situation is out of control. So where is Libya headed? What will all these events lead to? And how is this going to end? Let me be clear, those people who still say what happened in 2011 was a revolution, let me tell you, it was destruction. Plain and simple. When people rise up for a better life, that's supposed to be a good thing. But when the result is a ruined country, that's not a revolution, that's a conspiracy. A conspiracy from inside and from outside too. Let's look at the numbers. Back in 2010, Libya was producing 1.8 million barrels of oil a day. Now in 2025, it's down to 800,000 barrels. GDP dropped from $75 billion to $35 billion. Inflation went from just 3.5% to a whopping 35%. The country's foreign reserves, which were $120 billion in 2010, are now down to just $8 billion. That's all that's left in the central bank. People used to get bags of rice, jugs of oil, and other essentials delivered right to their doors, all subsidized. But now look at the disaster we're in. And it's not just the economy.
It's a complete collapse of the social structure. The once thriving middle class is now struggling to make ends meet. The healthcare system is in shambles, and education is no longer a priority. The economic decline has affected every aspect of life in Libya.
Indeed, the impact is far-reaching and devastating. The security situation is a nightmare. Libya used to be safe. Now people are hiding in their homes, terrified, while others are out in the streets protesting.
As you probably already know, all this escalated after the assassination of Ghaniwa, the commander of the stabilization support apparatus. That was part of a plot by Dbeibeh, using his allied militia, the 444th Brigade. Then, acting all tough, Dbeibeh came out saying he was going to dissolve the Rada force, also known as the deterrence apparatus. That marked a turning point.
After that, fighting broke out between the 444th Brigade, loyal to Dbeibeh, and the Rada forces. But it didn't stop there. The street fighting and chaos expanded, turning into full-blown gang warfare.
On one side, you have what's left of Ghaniwa's forces, now allied with Rada, fighting against the 444th Brigade. It's become a full-on street war, especially in Abu Salim, the area where the stabilization support apparatus was based. Since that group was dissolved and Ghaniwa was killed, there's been a huge security vacuum.
Now, areas like Souk al-Juma and Abu Salim in southern Tripoli are war zones. People in Tripoli are crying out, "We just want peace. We want safety for our children. Why should we live with gunmen and militias around us all the time? Why are there checkpoints everywhere? We just want a clean future for our kids and to raise them in peace." Is that too much to ask? It's been 15 years now. How long can this go on?
There's no more middle class in Libya. Just the rich and the poor, and most of us are poor. This is the truth. People are saying, give us legitimacy. Let someone rule us with legitimacy. But no one's doing that.
Here's what happened next. Remember, Dbeibeh is the so-called prime minister of the so-called government of national unity.
But there's also the Presidential Council, which originally created the Rada force. That's why Rada pushed back and said, the prime minister didn't create us. The Presidential Council did.
So is there even a head of state in Libya? Technically, yes. His name is Mohamed al-Menfi. He recently issued statements showing just how bad things are.
Protesters flooded the streets, furious over the worsening security. People couldn't go to work or do anything. The entire city was paralyzed. I'm telling you about what happened last night and this morning. Crowds gathered around the Prime Minister's office. Some even went to the home of Ibrahim Dbeibeh, a relative of Abdul Hamid Dbeibeh, and stormed the house. Protesters also surrounded the Prime Minister's headquarters and tried to set it on fire. Then armed forces arrived. Some say they were from the 444 Brigade, but wearing different uniforms, while others claim they were a different militia from Misrata. Either way, they opened fire on civilians. As of now, the Libyan Emergency Council has confirmed 6 deaths, but even those aren't being officially announced. Why? because Dbeibeh issued a statement saying that no one is allowed to report deaths or injuries unless it comes from the Prime Minister's office.
It's clear things are out of control. Just imagine this. People are out protesting, demanding that the Dbeibeh government step down. But who's going to make him step down? No one. He's backed by Turkey, by Italy, and by other foreign countries because he's protecting their interests, because of the prosperity Libya used to have. And I'm giving you real numbers here. If you don't believe me, you can go check for yourselves. But unfortunately, some people just don't want to face the truth. They're like ostriches, burying their heads in the sand. Why? Just because their father once told them that Gaddafi was a tyrant? Okay, maybe he was. But look at your life now. How's life treating you in Libya these days? It's terrible. Tripoli, which used to suffer before, is now in even worse shape. I personally think Marshal Haftar is handling things in eastern Libya better. At least there's a single force in charge over there. But in western Libya, no one knows who's really in power. It's chaos.
Anyway, to cut a long story short, because of all the gunfire and clashes that happened last night between all these different armed groups, including people protesting with heavy weapons, things are a complete mess. So, what did the head of state, Mohamed al-Menfi from the Presidential Council, do? He issued a decision freezing all the actions and decrees made by Dbeibeh, the Prime Minister. In other words, the president shut down everything Dbeibeh had been doing. At the same time, he ordered the Chief of Staff of the Army to start a fact-finding committee and make recommendations. Now to be clear, the so-called 444 Brigade, which is sort of military but not entirely under the Army's control, is involved here. They're wearing uniforms, but they're not fully official. It's a complicated setup. So now you've got the president issuing orders, and the prime minister issuing different orders, and they're contradicting each other. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dbeibeh tries to get rid of the president. I mean, literally. Don't be shocked if he uses his militias to carry out an assassination. Remember this. Dbeibeh's legitimacy has long expired. We're heartbroken over Tripoli. May God protect the people, heal the wounded, and unite the people of Tripoli. May they be freed from this nightmare of militias. People of Tripoli, just know, we in Benghazi went through years that were even worse. But we got through it. We used to cook over firewood, beg each other for fuel, and split a single loaf of bread among families. Now Benghazi is a model of recovery. And in the middle of all this chaos, a youth movement called Al-Battrees has emerged. They're saying, we need a peaceful civil disobedience movement. They publish statements on their page saying it's time to take to the streets, peacefully, without damaging public or private property.
Meanwhile, internationally, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, and the United States all issued statements expressing concern. As for who's really involved, Egypt and Turkey are the big players now. Egypt is right next door, so it makes sense they're paying attention. They even set up an emergency operations room and evacuated some prominent Libyan figures. Turkey also said they're ready to intervene if things escalate in Tripoli. No one really knows what their real motives are. They're across the sea, not even neighbors.
This international involvement is a clear indication of how significant the situation in Libya has become. It's not just a local issue anymore. It's a matter of regional stability and international interests.
Now let's look at where this is all going. Economically, Libya is in serious decline. All flights have been rerouted from Tripoli airport to Misrata. Banks are in crisis. Some ATMs are out of money. The central bank had to tell commercial banks to let customers withdraw from any branch with no fees. So what's next? The security situation is a mess. The economy is collapsing. The political system is worse than both. You've got the president and prime minister at odds, armed militias battling each other, and angry civilians protesting. I'm not exaggerating. This is the reality. The only real solution is to dissolve the current government in Tripoli and dismantle all militias. Or at least deal with them seriously. Look at the RADA force, Special Deterrence Force. It wasn't even a militia. It was officially formed by a presidential decree to fight terrorism and organized crime. It was supposed to be under the Special Operations Forces. But now, they're dissolving it while leaving other militias in place. Especially the ones in Misrata, they're still operating freely. So the big question is, will Dbeibeh ever agree to step down or let this government fall? Unlikely. He might even go to war with the state itself to stay in power. So even when things seem calm for a few hours, it always erupts again. The killing of Genoa, the commander of the stability support apparatus, has left a curse over Tripoli. The situation is still unstable and things are heating up fast. Thanks for watching and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. At S News, we're committed to fair and traditional